Now that we have explored the theoretical part of the Power Platform Admin Center and Dataverse, it is now time for us to move towards the lab. We can be starting it from validating the lab environment and then move to creating tables in Dataverse. For this, let's now move to the labs. And before I go there, I would request everybody to keep your credentials open. And as and when I perform the lab, you can also be seeing the same and start doing the same along with me so that it is going to provide you an experience overall of having the theoretical as well as the practical knowledge. Microsoft has provided us an instruction list from the GitHub Labs for the PL900 on various topics, be it validating the lab environment, the data modeling, building a Canvas app, building a model-driven app, be it building a Canvas app using Copilot, an automated solution, or a simple dashboard. For each and every lab, beautifully the instructions are explained. Now that we have understood the theory of the module number 1, we are going to perform the lab on the same. It is going to be validating the lab environment now, followed by creating a data model. Let's begin with validating the lab environment. This lab, validating the lab environment, is based on a scenario. The scenario goes this way. It is a Bellows College that they have considered, which is an educational organization with multiple campuses and programs. Here, there are many instructors and administrators who need to attend various events and also do they have to purchase items. But tracking the expense has been a challenge to them. So throughout the course, now we are going to build the applications, perform some automations to enable the college employees to manage their expenses because the campus administration is now planning to modernize their expense reporting system, for which there is lab number 1 that is decided now. So the exercise 1 happens to be the setup lab where we get to verify the Microsoft Power Platform trial tenant. For this, we should have Microsoft 365 credentials from an authorized lab host which is available. Then in a new browser tab, we are supposed to navigate to make.powerapps.com, enter the email address provided by the authorized lab host, also enter the password provided by the authorized lab host, and then in case it prompts you to enter the phone number, you got to do that and then submit. This is going to sign in to your make.powerapps.com, which is going to be your Power Apps homepage. There, you will have a provision to select an environment in which the dev1 will be listed, which you need to select. Under that dev1 environment, are we going to create the applications, the tables, and everything that comes under Power Platform. Let's begin the process now. I have opened a new tab now. I'm going to search for Power Apps login, which is make.powerapps.com homepage. Once I reach here, it will ask me to enter the credentials. Yes, I have entered my username. I'll go to next. And now I have entered the password and I'm going to sign in. After reaching the Power Apps homepage, the first thing we should do is check which environment we are in right now. We are in the Contessor default environment, and as per the instructions, we are supposed to change to the developer environment, which is named as Dev1. I'm going to select this and choose the Dev1 environment, which is my developer environment, and I'm going to show you the details of that. My role here is of the system administrator or the admin. The data platform I'm using is Dataverse and the environment type is developer. If we perform the lab till here, we have validated the lab environment and now we are good to proceed to the Dataverse lab. After completing validating the lab environment, which is lab 0, it's time for us to move to the lab 1, which is data modeling. This lab is going to give you an understanding of how can we create a table as well as columns in Dataverse. It is a scenario-based exercise. Here, a scenario is about an educational organization which is named as Bellows College with multiple campuses and the programs. But here, many of the instructors from this college as well as the administrators need to attend multiple events. And also, do they have to purchase the items? But what is happening is they are not able to track these expenses. And tracking of their expenses has been a challenge from long time. And that's why the campus administration is now trying to modernize their expense reporting system by providing the employees a digital way to report the expenses. And that's why are we trying to work on a lab which is going to help them create a data model. So within no time, we will be doing that. Here, for us to prepare to the learning environment, we are going to create an expense table, and also are we going to add some sample data. It starts with multiple naming conventions, and we are supposed to follow the same naming conventions which are used here in the exercise. For this lab to be started, there is a prerequisite of completing the module 1 lab 0, which is validating the lab environment. And as usual, once we are into the Power App, by signing into make.powerapps.com, we need to ensure that we are in the Dev 1 environment. Now, let's begin with continuing to the exercise. The third instruction here is using the navigation on the left, select tables. We are going to go to the tables, create a new table, and we are supposed to name it as expense. Let's do that. We have come here to the Power Apps now. After coming to the Power Apps, first thing I need to check, like they have mentioned, is if I'm in the right environment. Yes, I'm in the right environment. It's time for me to now go to the tables. Once I come to the table, here you can see there are multiple ways in which we can be creating a new table. I will start from a blank table option. And they have also told us what is the name that we need to enter here. The name of the table has to be expense. So here I'm going to now paste expense, right? And I will save and exit. I'm sure the table is created and is present in this list. Let me show you that. Here is my table. That's my table, the one that I created just now. Let's begin with the process next. Once our table is ready, now it is time for us to move to creating columns. And there is a first column that we need to create with the name expense date. I'm going to copy this. It has to be of the type date only. And then we are supposed to keep it at required. And then in the advanced options for the time zone adjustment, we need to select date only. After doing that, we are going to save this column. Let's do that. I'm going to take you here. We are already in the table named as expense. I'll come here to the column. I'm going to enter the name of the column as expense date. Like they have mentioned, we are going to keep the data type as date only. So here I also have an option for date only. If you want to, I can select the same, right? Which means the format is going to be converted into date only instead of date and time. Also here, it has to be made business required and not kept optional. If I scroll down, you can see the advanced options. And in the advanced options, you have time zone adjustment where you are supposed to keep it at time zone independent or local or date only. In our case, we are going to keep it date only. That's all from the first column. And now I'm going to save this. Here you can already see the first column that I have created. Now let me move to the instructions and let's see what should I be doing for the next. The next column I need to create is expense type column. After clicking on a new column, I should be entering expense type. That is going to be my display name. It has to be of choice category, but choice has to be global and the required should be kept optional. And in sync with this choice, I need to keep expense type. Let's do one after the other. I'm going to come here. I'll go to new, I'll go to the column, I'll enter the display name. I'll come here for the data type. I'll go for the choice option. Of course, the required needs to be optional in this case. I'm going to sync with global choice as S recommended. When I do this, I should be syncing this choice with a choice that I have created, and hence from my list, it has to be expense type. So let me find it. Here it is. I've chosen expense type, and now I need not keep any default choice. I'll keep it at none, and I'm going to save. So that completes my second column. First one is the expense date. Now expense type is done. I'm going to go to the next. The third column here is expense purpose column. This also has to be the choice column only. And in the sync with global choice, we need to make it yes recommended, and default choice should be none. But also when I'm syncing the choice field, it has to be with the expense purpose. Let's do that. I'll come here to new. I'll come to the column. I'll paste expense purpose. I'll come to the data type. I'll go for choice. And now again, this is optional. This is recommended for the global choice. I'll come here and look for the options in the drop down. When I scroll down, it has to be mapped with the expense purpose, which is here. Once I do that, default choice is none, and I'm going to save this. By doing this, my third column will be complete. It's done. I'm going to go to the next instruction. The next instruction is to create another column which is called item description. This has to have multiple lines of text as the data type. I'll come here to new. I'll go to the column. I'm going to enter the display name as item description. I'll come here to the data type. I'm going to go to the text. And in the multiple lines of text, I'm going to choose the plain text option like they have mentioned, and I'm going to save. That completes my next column creation. Once it is done, let me move to the next. The final column to be created is expense amount, in which I need to choose currency for the data type and save. Let's do that quickly. New column, enter the display name as expense amount, and in the data type, choose currency and save this. That's all from the column creation. And once all the columns are created, we can as well be entering the data into it. Or if I have any data source which already has the data which can be uploaded into this, I can quickly go for an import option. That as well can be easily done. Now, the next step is to enter the data. They have clearly mentioned we need to enter the data, and how? By modifying the columns displayed. Again, we are supposed to be signed into the make.powerapps.com and be there in the dev1 environment. Go to the tables, and we are supposed to open the expense table, and next to the name column, there will be select 26 more, of which the ones that we have created just now should only be made to display. We will do that. I'm going to come here. I'll go to the edit mode. I'm going to click on 21 more. I will unselect all. Expense date I created, expense type, expense purpose, item description was created by me. What else? The expense amount. These were the 5 columns that were created by me, and hence I will make them to get displayed. Once this is done, I need to save and have done that. Task 2 is to add a sample record. How do I do that? I will have to now click on the arrow next to edit from the menu that appears edit in new tab, and then start entering the name, the expense date, the purpose, the type, and the expense amount. By doing this, we can be saving the records. Let's try that. I'll come here. In case you want to, you can always go back
If you click directly on the edit, it will open right here. If you want to open in a new tab, you can click on edit in new tab. It opens a new tab in your browser. And now it will be showing you all the columns from the table that we have created till now. And it's time for us to enter the data into the same. Let's start doing that. Once it starts, displays the new row that I can add. Here it says enter or pick date. I'm going to double click. It is going to show me a date picker. I'm going to choose a date. I'll come here for the expense type. I'm going to select options for the expense type. I have travel option available. I'm going to choose it. I can double click on the purpose. I'll say conference. If I want to, I can describe here with a description. I'll say traveling for conference. I've entered this. That's the item description. And here they have asked us to enter a value, which is 750. Now I'm going to enter 750 for the expense amount, and this is going to be in dollars. So when I complete this, the data is automatically saved. And in the Dataverse, there is no separate save option. When you enter the data gets automatically saved. So that was something I wanted to explain you here with this Dataverse lab. We performed both the labs. We performed validating the lab environment in the Power Platform Admin Center, and also did we now create a table and multiple columns, and we understood how can we add the data into the table that we created. It's not like it is just the only way to create a table or it's the only way to create the columns. There are multiple other data types available which we can explore. We just hardly explored a few of them. But as and when you get time, start exploring more data types, multiple other ways of creating tables also you can be exploring. So that's all from this lab of validating the lab environment and the Dataverse.